U.S. military veteran claims to have worked with extraterrestrials, space aliens, Nordics, and tall whites. And there's a 6-minute video you can listen to him just briefly stating his experience and his background. Australian News Morning Show, Sunrise, interviewed a man who claims that he worked with extraterrestrials on a U.S. base in the 1960s. An ex-military man, Charles Hall, calls these beings tall whites because of their appearance. They're very pale. And says the military had let them take up temporary residence near the Nellis Air Force Base in Nevada. He's written a book about his experience in 5 volumes of a series he calls Millennial Hospitality. 5 volumes. Hall has been asked to do several talks and book signings throughout Australia, and this is today's article, so he'll be going there soon enough, and he'll be in Australia in the month of April. But what he says is really interesting. Hall is a Vietnam veteran and later served as a weather observer for the Air Force. It was in this position, while stationed at Nellis Air Force Base, that he alleged to have met and worked with these aliens. He often had to spend a lot of time alone and was able to wander the secretive air base. He says he found the alien base at one end of the Indian Springs Valley and was allowed to interact with them for over 2 years. Hall says he eventually also came into contact with gray aliens that crashed at Roswell, New Mexico, and some human-looking aliens with 24 teeth he called the Nordics. Hall, according to him, these interactions spanned the 2-year period he was stationed at that base. Very interesting things what he has to say. He says they're at his height, like 5'11" most of the time, and they live 10 times longer than we as humans live. If we live like 70 or 80 years, they live 700, 800 years. But at the phase of 400 years, they start growing again. So they grow taller than 5'11", 6 feet tall. They can grow 12, 13, 14, 15 feet tall. But the problem is that their organs remain the same size. They don't grow to support enough of their height and their body size. And that's when they start aging. And eventually they come to their demise at around 708 years old. And he claims that they're very pale, they're very fragile, they're a lot thinner than we are. And that he worked with them and they would interact with him. They would even come to his room at night. And I don't know what they were doing. Maybe they're talking to him. I don't know what they wanted in his room. But anyway, in the video, he's there with his wife in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And answering a few questions just briefly. And again, he stresses that he was working for the government and that the government wanted to know about their technology, learn as much from them as possible, and that they're there in these bases, in these areas, and there are people from the human side working with them to find out as much as they can concerning their technology. Now, where they're from, he said something, but he wasn't really sure where they were from. I don't understand how that's possible. You're interacting with these people for 2 years and you don't even know where you're from. I mean, that's the first thing when a person introduces themselves. Hi, my name is Kelly. I'm from New York City and I'm that much old. These are the first things that you learn. How old are you? I'm this. What's your name? Where are you from? So how is it that you're working with these people for so many years and you don't know where they're from? But anyway, he said something, I can't, but he wasn't sure where they were from. They look human. And there's a picture there where he has this very pretty looking girl, a little bit narrow, as if she's got some kind of a syndrome. I forget what it's called, when you're very thin. Anyway, so tell me what you think about this. This again goes with the Emerald Tablets and the Atlanteans theory that they are among us, and space aliens working among us. And this is just one of the pictures that we have from ancient Egypt, the Abydos Temple in Egypt, the Temple of Seti, showing that even thousands of years ago, the Pharaoh of Egypt, Nectanebo, said that this was the area where the overlords of Egypt, the original gods of Egypt, the deities of Egypt, landed from the skies. And we know that the deities of Egypt were supposedly the Atlanteans, and that the Giza Pyramid and the Sphinx, the area there, was built by Thoth the Atlantean, and that later they went to various areas of the world to establish, after the sinking of Atlantis, to establish new cities with pyramids and high technology. We even have the Native Americans telling us that they have legends of the star people, the tall and pale people that would give them technology and knowledge of the laws and astronomy and herbs and things like that. And that once they were bearded, pale and bearded, whereas we know that the American Indians or all natives of the Americas have no beards, they can't grow beards. And they could very well be the Atlanteans of the Emerald Tablets. They lived thousands of years. And they're supposedly still there. There are people, archaeologists, anthropologists, making tour groups, their guides for tour groups, visiting Puma Punko and other areas of Peru. And there's videos on YouTube as well you can see with Brian Forrester. And they claim that they're still there, they're living underground. And they come out during twilight, during sunrise and sunset, because our sun is too strong for them and they would burn their skin. That they're tall, they live for thousands of years, that they're malevolent, basically, just like the Atlanteans were, for the most part. And anyway, tell me what you think. I think this is really fascinating, that a man that used to work for the U.S. military, a veteran from the Vietnam War, working with these space aliens, extraterrestrials, tall whites, Nordics, and even grays. He describes the tall whites, but he didn't describe the grays, their characteristics, or what he was doing with them. And I don't know what to think. But he's wrote a text of 5 volumes concerning his experiences with all these people. What could he possibly have in there? One thing I didn't like is the fact that he didn't even know where they were from. Anyway, please tell me what you think. This is from Source Open Minds Millennial Hospitality, which is Charles Hall's site, and it's by Humans Are Free. If you'd like to join me on my Patreon account, you will hear content not covered by mainstream media. These riveting stories will be based on my research, and I will state my opinions and give my personal insight on diverse and controversial subjects and world events not covered by mainstream media, and not supported by YouTube guidelines. So whatever I have on my Patreon, most of those will not be on my YouTube channel. Please consider becoming a member today. More of the most significant and important videos will be on my Patreon channel. Your support helps me to continue my research and keeps this YouTube channel alive. And we depend on your support, your generous charity, because we help economically challenged families here in Athens, Greece, in Kapota, and we also help the young generation with university tuition and the community around our church. Thank you.